Good morning. Today I wanted to talk about human upgrading. I talk about it a lot on Facebook and other social media outlets, just like a lot of other people. Um, Part of the program, it's not a coincidence that many of us are joining forces due to the law of attraction, and we're all talking about the same things. Like, you can't deny the reality of what's actually going on, even if you don't experience it, because there's so many of us talking about the same thing. And so it's so cool that, we're all coming together in this collective effort, and we're all here to teach and understand and share what's going on with ourselves so that we can help each other out through this upgrading process. Just because you're not experiencing the upgrade doesn't mean that you're not experiencing it. It just means that you're not attuned to the frequency of experiencing the physical. To experience the physical activations that we feel as humans throughout this process. And I wanted to share with you what some of the activations have been feeling like for me at night. At night, activations get a lot stronger for me. And I think that's why I'm so pulled to go to bed early. Like, I go to bed really early and I wake up between 4:30 and 5 every morning now. It's like automatic clockwork. And it's because most of the programming that we have going on within our psyche, if you're attuned to that program, it happens at night. And so I started noticing over the last several months that my energy is depleted in the afternoon, and then by 8 o'clock or actually around 7 or 8, I start to feel a much higher activation of upgrades. And I wanted to share with you what has been going on the last 2 nights. Like, there's been another level of involvement with the upgrading that is going on to my program. Each individual's program is specific to their upgrading. And so everyone experiences the upgrades from the sun, the solar flares and things like that bring about energy. That's the shamanic frequency, the heart and the throat chakra. But upgrading, the DNA upgrades on such a specific, massive level is happening to a collective of beings, but it's specific to that person. So my process, the upgrading that is happening to my DNA and my molecular self is different than what's happening for someone else, but it's happening in the same way if you're on that frequency. So, humans are being awakened in cycles. We can't all wake up with all this knowledge at the same time. And my knowledge, as well as many of your knowledge, you guys' minds and your program, has evolved within what's happening in your vessel over time. We are channeled what's going on, therefore we know what's going on in our body. So it's not like someone knocked on the door and said, "Hello, Miss Ivy, today you're going to be a contactee and we're going to teach you how to do it." It doesn't work that way. And so all of this just started happening for me consciously last May. And so this is all new. So I am pushed or pulled. I feel the pull to share my experiences with you, so those of you that are going through it can understand what's going on. And so last night and the night before, I experienced some very new activations, some new upgrading. And it was right before I fell asleep. All of a sudden, I'm laying there, because I sit a lot and I just listen and feel what goes on in my body. Because a lot of times there's a story that goes along with it that I'm told, but a lot of the times there's not. Well, the night before, I started feeling activations on my face, but it was different. Usually it feels like it's coming from the inside out. Well, this time it was on the outside. And I could feel that the upgrading they were actually like blowing something in my mouth and in my nose at all of this like, what's going on? But it's not harmful. Like, this ascension process is assisting the humans. It's not hurting anyone. If it's hurting someone, it's not authentic. If it's fearful, it's not authentic. This ascension process is not fear-based. They're here to assist. And so the fact that I could feel them blowing stuff on the external, on the outside of my face, that's a new thing. I have not been consciously aware of that before. And then last night, it was very different. They started blowing on my eyes or whatever it is. I could feel it. And I lay on my side, right? And I had my face on the pillow like this. So part of my eye was on the pillow. And they were doing something to my eyes. And because my eye was blocked, they were actually pushing on my pillow. Like, they were actually pushing on my pillow physically. It wasn't just an internal upgrade. So for like a nanosecond, I kind of freaked out a little bit, just for like a nanosecond of, a moment. And then, it totally went away because I'm not fearful of this process. That doesn't mean that I don't feel fear. It just means that I have already agreed to this process, to this mission. Therefore, I am open to receive. Do you see how it works? When we're open within ourselves and we set the intention of being open, we're able to receive any kind of upgrading or anything we want. Your channel is there waiting to listen and hear you. And it's waiting for your direction. Like, it's really unreal. I mean, there's so many times I think to myself how so badly I wish that I could just like touch the shoulder of an individual and they can see what goes on, so that they can understand that life is just it's just so much different than what we think it is. I mean, this existence is not about getting some job, doing something for someone else and being miserable in life. It's about picking what you want to do, even if it's for someone else, and being happy about it. Like, this life is not about the circumstances that gets put on our shoulders. Fear is not real. It's an inauthentic vibration as a tool for the human to look. We jump on fear because we don't know any better. And that is, no one in our life teaches us not to fear fear. And no one certainly teaches us the authenticity of what love really is. So it's no wonder that we're all bumping heads and, all frustrated with life and everything else. And, it's really just about cutting it away and realizing that the only reality is the inner world. That's the only reality that there is. That's why we can create the outside world for it to be whatever we want. And we do that on the inside too, but the channel is there. The channel, the assisted guidance that you are unconsciously experiencing in your mind is your assistants, your angels, whatever. People have a lot of names, the spirit or the soul or intuition or what, there's so many things that people want to call it. But the reality is that there are a lot of beings in your body, in your mind, in your soul, all around you on the outside. We're not just human. And through psychedelics over the last few weeks, I was actually shown the channel. That's why I know it. I can tell you. Like, they actually showed it to me, and I can't believe it. Like, it makes me want to cry because it's so powerful. And so, it's amazing. And it's because love is so powerful. It's not even about love. It's about awareness and being mindful. I mean, even love is a humanistic attachment. This idea of what we think love is, and it's really just about being mindful. Like, treat people how you want to be treated. Love yourself how you want people to love you, and they will. Like, I am in the business of like, no bullshit, no excuses. I don't even want to hear it anymore. because I don't listen to that stuff in myself. Like when I hear myself talking in a way that is like complaining or being a victim, I'm like, ooh, that's not you. And then I transcend it. Like it's really that easy. Negativity, fear, anger, all of those things are just there to show the individual where to look. And we are being assisted. We are not in this alone. Like, where do you think your thoughts come from when you're not thinking? Like, do you ever just stop and go, whoa, where does all of that come from? How did I know that? Like those aha moments that happen, where does that aha come from? I mean, so when we really think about how we are being assisted in our channel and our DNA and our bodies are being upgraded. Like if you don't feel like you're being upgraded, start doing the upgrading yourself and watch what happens. You can activate your connection to the channel whenever you release what no longer serves you. If you make your life about healing your brain, like literally, if you just go, I don't even care about my emotions anymore. I don't want to deal with this humanistic experience. I just want to heal my brain. If you just research on how to physically heal your brain, you will change your life. Because when we focus on the brain, see, the heart is the sun. The heart is the soul center. The heart knows what to do. We don't have to fine tune it. We don't have to fine tune it. We don't have to like figure out the heart. We don't have to do anything. It beats all on its own. But the brain is a channel of many entities that are not who you think you are. So you've got someone whispering you channeled truths of existence, of your creativity and passion in your mind all the time. It becomes uncomfortable when your human doesn't pay attention to that advice. And so we wonder why we spend our lives going, because we're not being authentic to who we really are. People will tell you to not share your truth. People will try to put you in a box. People will try to do anything they can because they don't understand what you're saying if they're not in that frequency, and that's okay. It's normal for people to do that. Just be mindful enough to recognize that frequency so you can go, okay, I see the wall, the person going without doing that. Sometimes they do. That is your empathic indication that you need to shift your energy with that person. We don't have to encompass what someone is, who they are, the energy that they give off. We don't have to accept that on any level whatsoever. Like we're in this space of thinking if we don't take care and do everything for everybody, then we must be selfish. That is absolute social programming, and it's BS because it's not true. Everyone is not there for our energy. And our energy certainly isn't for everyone else. So it's just about finding the balance on what feels good for you. And the number one thing to find that out is to stop talking and listen and look. Humans are receivers. We are the beacons of energy. We're a conduit. We have electricity and power and water in our body. Therefore, we have an energetic signal that we send and receive. Everyone does. That's why, like, if you go to Walmart or one of those places where there's a lot of wild energy, or even just anywhere there's a lot of people, you are absorbing all of that energy around you, even though you're not open to it. You put yourself in that space. So it's just about finding a balance in how we want to be around other people. Like for me, I used to be an extreme extrovert, and I have become an introvert since I became very sensitive to energy. But now I'm finding the balance between those two because we're all introverted. All of us. We all need that quiet space, even though we fill it with a bunch of noise before we quiet the mind. That's why it doesn't feel good when there's so much noise around, And so it's just about finding the balance of when you want to be, wild and have fun and inviting and open and protect that. You don't even have to protect it. Be mindful, because protection comes from a fearful place, and we don't have to protect ourselves. We just have to be mindful. So if we remove certain terms from our vocabulary, if you remove things like should and try and hope and put in I'm focusing, I'm attracting, I'm evolving in, I am practicing, those are reprogrammable words for the subconscious mind. If you're constantly using words, well, I hope I can do it. Well, what is hope doing? Hope is sitting over there hoping in the corner for it to come. And yeah, I understand what hope means. It means that there's a positive outlook on something. So I'm not blind to what that means, but it's in the way that we use that word. It's all subconscious. Like, we don't even realize that we're walking around talking unconsciously mostly. And so when we recognize that trap words keep us in a space of a revolving thought that doesn't evolve, we can shift out of that. And it's just about being mindful of word choice and just of ourselves. I mean, there's so much that we can be mindful about, and we can, it can be overwhelming, but it's just focus on the word being mindful, aware, outside of self to take a look. That's where the magic is. That's when you really start to see people for who they are, and you get to see yourself, because you then become a reflection. You don't look in the mirror and see you anymore. And that's where you find God, is through the eyes of another. I love you to the moon, family, and I hope you have a great day. And just know that we're in this life together. We're a collective. And we don't have to fight each other. We don't have to be angry. We don't have to certainly agree with each other, but be open and mindful and let people do what they want to do. You do you. I'll do me. And let everybody else do themselves. And don't put the attachment on it, because it's going to happen anyway.